They told you it was impossible. Not directly, not always to your face, but in the tone of their voice, in the way they changed the subject when you shared your dream, in the polite smiles that said, "Yeah, sure you will." They told you the odds were stacked against you, that people like you don't usually make it, that success belongs to someone else, someone with better connections, more money, more luck, more talent, more time. And maybe you believed them. Maybe you started shrinking your dreams so they fit inside other people's expectations. Maybe you learned how to laugh off your own ambition. Maybe you told yourself, "I'll try someday," knowing deep down that someday was just a comfortable lie. But listen to me, that quiet discomfort you feel when you settle for less, that restlessness when you scroll through someone else's success, that tiny voice in your chest that whispers, "You're meant for more than this," that's not jealousy. That's not greed. That's not arrogance. That's your potential begging to be taken seriously. The world has a strange way of training people to lower their standards. We're taught to be realistic, to be safe, to be reasonable. But nobody ever changed the world by being reasonable. Nobody rewrote their family story by playing it safe. Nobody escaped mediocrity by following the same tired script everyone else followed. Look around. Everywhere you look, someone is living a life you secretly want. Someone who once stood where you stand right now. Uncertain, scared, doubted, underestimated. You don't see the nights they cried in their car. You don't see the times they almost quit. You don't see the doors slammed in their face. You don't see the people who laughed when they said, "I'm going to make it." All you see is the result, and you think they're special. But here's the uncomfortable truth. They weren't special. They were stubborn. They were stubborn enough to keep going when nobody clapped. Stubborn enough to work when nobody believed. Stubborn enough to fail publicly and still come back the next day with their head held high. Most people quit not because they're incapable, but because they're tired of being doubted. They quit when the support fades. They quit when results take too long. They quit when the grind stops being glamorous. But what if you didn't? What if you decided that your progress doesn't need permission? What if you stopped asking people who don't live your life for approval to chase your dreams? What if you realize that nobody owes you belief, and you don't owe anyone proof? You don't need validation from people who are comfortable staying average. Your calling is not to fit in. Your calling is to outgrow every version of yourself that once thought small was safer. Right now, you are standing at the edge of two lives. One is familiar. It's predictable. It's safe. It looks like repeating the same routines, the same excuses, the same conversations 5 years from now. The other is uncomfortable. It's uncertain. It demands discipline. It demands sacrifice. It demands that you stop romanticizing your potential and start respecting your work ethic. And here's the part nobody likes to hear. You don't get to complain about the life you didn't earn. You don't get to be angry at success if you haven't committed to the price it demands. You don't get to envy the results of someone who outworked you while you were negotiating with your comfort zone. Your comfort zone is not your friend. It is a beautiful prison. It feeds you excuses dressed up as logic. It whispers, "Start tomorrow." It convinces you that preparation is progress. It keeps you busy but never fulfilled. And the scariest part? It feels normal. Normal is waking up tired. Normal is hating Mondays and surviving Fridays. Normal is dreaming about freedom while doing nothing that builds it. But you weren't born to live a normal life. You weren't designed to spend your potential just to pay bills and count weekends. You weren't created to watch other people take risks while you play it safe. Deep down, you know this. You feel it when you avoid the work you know you should be doing. You feel it when you waste another hour scrolling instead of building. You feel it when you tell yourself you're too busy, but somehow still find time to procrastinate. That guilt, that frustration, that's not self-hate. That's self-respect knocking on the door, asking why you keep ignoring it. You say you want more, but your habits are voting for less. Your dreams say greatness. Your actions say later. And later is a dangerous word. Later is how years disappear. Later is how potential turns into regret. Later is how people wake up at 40 and wonder where their fire went. You don't lose your fire overnight. You lose it one excuse at a time. One, "I'm tired" at a time. One, "I'll start next week" at a time. One, It's not the right moment at a time. There will never be a perfect moment. You will never feel fully ready. You will never have perfect confidence. You will never eliminate fear before you begin. Confidence is not something you wait for. Confidence is built by showing up scared and doing the work anyway. The people you admire didn't start confident. They started committed. Committed to learning when they looked stupid. Committed to failing without quitting. Committed to being misunderstood while they were building something that didn't make sense yet. Let them doubt you. Let them underestimate you. Let them think you're crazy for wanting more. Because one day, the same people will ask, "How did you do it?" And you'll smile, not because you proved them wrong, but because you finally proved yourself right. Your time doesn't start when you feel ready. Your time starts the moment you decide that the story you're living is no longer good enough. And that moment is now. At some point, you have to make a decision that changes how you see yourself. Not a loud decision, not a dramatic announcement, just a quiet, powerful choice in your own mind that says, "I'm done living on pause." Because living on pause feels safe. You stay busy, but you don't move forward. You stay comfortable, but you don't grow. You stay distracted, but you don't build anything real. The truth is, most people don't fail. They just never fully begin. They stay in planning mode. They wait for confidence to arrive. They wait for the right timing. They wait for permission. But life doesn't reward waiting. Life rewards movement. Movement creates clarity. Action creates confidence. Progress creates belief. You don't think your way into a better life. You work your way into it. Right now, your future is being shaped by what you repeatedly do when nobody is forcing you. Your habits are your vote. Every small choice is a signal to your identity. When you skip the work, you're voting for the old version of you. When you show up, you're voting for the person you're becoming. And here's the uncomfortable part. Nobody is responsible for your discipline but you, not your parents, not your teachers, not your boss, not your circumstances. Your past may explain you, but it doesn't get to define you. You're allowed to outgrow the version of you that survived. You are allowed to become the version of you that thrives. Stop carrying your old limitations into your new season. Just because you were doubted before doesn't mean you're unqualified now. Just because you failed before doesn't mean you're destined to fail again. Failure is not a label. It's a lesson, but only if you stay in the game long enough to learn it. The people who win are not the ones who never fall. They are the ones who refuse to stay down. Every setback is training. Every rejection is conditioning. Every obstacle is shaping your resilience. You are being built, even when it feels like you're being broken. And that feeling of being behind, that pressure you feel when you compare your progress to others, use it, not as a weapon against yourself, but as fuel. Comparison only becomes toxic when it turns into self-hate. But comparison can also be a mirror. It can show you what's possible. It can remind you that people with your same 24 hours are building lives you admire, not because they're lucky, but because they are consistent. Consistency beats talent when talent doesn't show up. Consistency beats motivation when motivation disappears. Consistency beats confidence when confidence fades. You don't need to be extraordinary. You need to be reliable. Reliable with your habits. Reliable with your standards. Reliable with your word to yourself. Start small, but start serious. Stop setting goals you don't respect enough to work for. Stop making promises you don't intend to keep. Every broken promise to yourself weakens your self-trust. And self-trust is everything. When you trust yourself, you move differently. You don't negotiate with excuses. You don't wait for permission. You don't fold at the first sign of discomfort. You show up because you said you would, even when it's boring, even when it's lonely, even when it's hard. There will be days you feel invisible, days when no one notices your effort, days when progress feels slow, days when your results don't match your work. Those days are not proof that it's not working. They are proof that you're in the process. Progress is quiet before it's loud. No one sees a foundation being built. They only notice the building once it stands tall. Don't rush the foundation. If you build fast without building strong, your success will collapse the moment pressure hits. Strong habits create strong people. Strong people create strong results. This is your season to build strength, not just physical strength, mental strength, emotional strength, discipline strength, because life doesn't get easier. You get stronger. The challenges don't disappear. Your capacity to handle them expands. One day, you'll look back at this version of yourself, the one who decided to stop waiting, the one who chose to start showing up, the one who refused to stay small. And you'll be grateful that you didn't quit when it was uncomfortable. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a real commitment. You don't need to see the whole staircase. You just need to take the next step, right now, because your future is built by what you do next, not by what you say you'll do someday. And someday? Someday is not a date on the calendar. Someday is a decision you keep postponing. Today is when it becomes real. There's a moment in every transformation where motivation runs out and character takes over. That's the moment most people turn back, not because the dream disappeared, but because the work stopped feeling exciting. At the beginning, everything feels possible. Your vision is clear. Your energy is high. Your goals feel close enough to touch. Then reality shows up. Progress slows down. Results take longer. Doubt gets louder. The grind stops feeling romantic and starts feeling repetitive. This is where your character is revealed. Anyone can be excited on day one. Anyone can feel powerful when the results are visible. But who are you on day 30? Who are you when nobody is watching? Who are you when applause is gone and the road is quiet? That version of you determines everything. Because success is not built on intensity. It's built on endurance. Intensity gets you started. Endurance gets you there. Endurance is boring. It's doing the same hard things over and over without immediate reward. It's trusting the process when the process isn't giving you proof yet. It's showing up on the days that don't feel special. This is the discipline nobody celebrates. No one throws a party for consistency. No one congratulates you for waking up early in silence. No one applauds the quiet hours you invest when everyone else is distracted. But those hours compound. They stack up invisibly until one day. People call your results luck. They didn't see the months you worked without recognition. They didn't see the weekends you sacrificed. They didn't see the nights you chose growth over comfort. They only see the moment it worked. Let them call it luck. You'll know it was loyalty to your future self. There will be moments when you question your path. Moments when you wonder if you're moving in the wrong direction. Moments when you feel behind. Moments when it seems like everyone else is passing you. Those moments are part of the journey, not signs you're failing. Growth messes with your identity. You're shedding old habits, old mindsets, old versions of yourself. That feels unstable before it feels powerful. You can't become someone new while holding on to everything familiar. Transformation requires letting go. Letting go of comfort. Letting go of excuses. Letting go of the version of you that felt safe but stayed small. And yes, letting go hurts. Not because growth is wrong, but because your comfort zone doesn't want to die quietly. Your comfort zone will bargain with you. It will say, you deserve a break. You've already done enough today. You can slow down just this once. And sometimes rest is healthy, but don't confuse rest with retreat. Rest helps you recover. Retreat pulls you back into old patterns. Learn the difference. Rest with intention. Then return to the work with hunger. Because hunger is powerful. Not hunger for attention. Not hunger for validation. Hunger for becoming better than yesterday. That hunger is what keeps you moving when motivation fades. The people who change their lives don't wait to feel inspired. They train themselves to move regardless of mood. Mood is a terrible leader. Mood changes with the weather. Mood changes with sleep. Mood changes with convenience. Discipline doesn't care about mood. Discipline cares about direction. And your direction matters more than how you feel today. There will be seasons when progress is invisible, when you're doing the work, but the results are quiet, when you're showing up, but the breakthrough hasn't arrived. Those seasons test your faith in yourself. Not faith in a motivational quote, not faith in luck, faith in your ability to stay consistent without immediate reward. This is where most people quietly disappear. They don't announce they're quitting. They just stop showing up. Don't be one of them. Not because quitting is weak, but because your future deserves more than your temporary frustration. You owe it to yourself to see what happens if you don't quit this time. You owe it to yourself to see who you become if you stay disciplined longer than you've ever stayed before. There's a version of you on the other side of the season that you haven't met yet. That version is calmer under pressure. That version doesn't panic at setbacks. That version knows how to move in silence and let results speak. But that version is built only by consistency under pressure. Pressure doesn't destroy you. It reveals you. Pressure shows you whether your habits are real or just temporary bursts of motivation. If you want a different life, you need a stronger version of yourself to live it. Stronger discipline, stronger standards, stronger commitment, not louder promises. Quiet consistency beats loud intentions every time. So when it gets boring, stay. When it gets lonely, stay. When it gets hard, stay. Not because it's easy, but because quitting would keep you exactly where you started. And you didn't start this journey to stay the same. You started because something inside you knew that your current life was not your final form. Honor that voice. Show up again tomorrow. This is the moment, not tomorrow, not next week, not when life gets easier. This moment. Because the truth is, life doesn't wait for you to feel ready. Time doesn't pause while you build courage. The world keeps moving with or without your permission. And every day you hesitate, you're making a decision, even if you don't realize it. Indecision is a decision. Silence is a choice. Staying where you are is still choosing a direction. So if you're tired of watching other people live the life you want, if you're tired of promising yourself one day, if you're tired of knowing you're capable of more but settling for less, this is your wake-up call. Nobody is going to come and hand you confidence. Nobody is going to come and hand you discipline. Nobody is going to come and hand you the life you keep visualizing. You build it. You earn it. You become the kind of person who deserves it. And that process is uncomfortable by design. Growth is uncomfortable. Discipline is uncomfortable. Choosing the hard path when the easy one is available is uncomfortable. But regret? Regret is heavier than discipline will ever be. Regret follows you for years. Discipline only asks for today. Every time you choose comfort over courage, you're trading your future for temporary relief. Every time you avoid the work you know you should be doing, you're teaching yourself that your word doesn't matter. And if your word doesn't matter to you, why would the world take you seriously? Your self-respect is built in private. It's built in the moments nobody sees. It's built when you keep a promise to yourself, even when it would be easy to break it. That's how confidence is born, not from hype, not from validation, from integrity with yourself. There's a version of you that your current habits are creating, and there's a version of you your discipline could create. Those two futures are not the same. One future looks like more of the same, more waiting, more wishing, more almost. The other future looks like growth, progress, pride, not because everything becomes easy, but because you become stronger. You don't need to become perfect. You need to become consistent. You don't need to have all the answers. You need to take the first uncomfortable step. You don't need to eliminate fear. You need to move with fear in the passenger seat, not the driver's seat. Fear will always talk. Fear will always warn you about failure. Fear will always show you worst-case scenarios. Let fear speak. Just don't let it decide. Decide that your dreams deserve effort. Decide that your potential deserves discipline. Decide that your future deserves more than your excuses. This is not about proving people wrong. This is about proving yourself right. Proving to yourself that you are capable of doing hard things. Proving to yourself that you can keep going when it's uncomfortable. Proving to yourself that you don't quit on your own growth. When you change, the world around you changes. Not because people suddenly support you, but because your standards rise. You stop accepting what once felt normal. You stop settling for environments that drain you. You stop tolerating habits that keep you small. Your standards become your protection. And as your standards rise, so does the quality of your life. One day, someone will look at you and say, "You're lucky." Smile, not because they're wrong, but because luck is what discipline looks like from the outside. They didn't see the mornings you showed up tired. They didn't see the days you worked when you wanted to quit. They didn't see the choices you made when no one was watching. But you did, and you'll know that this life was built, not gifted. So don't wait for a sign. You are the sign. Don't wait for motivation. Build discipline. Don't wait for confidence. Build evidence. The evidence comes from action. The confidence comes from keeping your word. The life you want comes from the work you're willing to do when it's hard. This is your moment to stop watching and start building. Your time doesn't start when conditions are perfect. Your time starts when you decide you're done delaying the life you know you're capable of living. The next move is yours. Make it count.